You want to know what it is? Because I know a lot of people talk about how men aren't vocal. Men are extremely vocal with our issues. We talk about it all the time. The problem is that a lot of people tend to not listen until men have had it. That's when people's like, oh shit, what's going on with this person? Maybe we need to listen to them. Every single time, every single word of truth saying fault, every single the Boston Tea Party, every single revolt, every single time a man has gotten violent over some shit, or every single time a man has gotten loud, or it's once he gets loud, that's when everybody wants to stop and listen. But he tried to tell you, calm, hey, please don't do that. Hey, we would like for y'all to do this for us. And this is just talking about society-wide. Man will sit there and say, hey, look, this is what we need from y'all. This is what we need from society. This is what we expect. Hey, we don't feel like, you know what I mean? We don't feel like we're getting our due justice over here. And everybody be like, ah, fuck that. And then that man gets loud. And then men in general gets loud. And then all of a sudden everybody wants to listen. But he been talking the whole time. You just didn't want to listen until he got rah-rah with you. When he pulled his gun out, and all of a sudden, now everybody want to stop and listen. When they flipped on, when they threw the tea into the Boston River, that's when everybody wanted to stop and listen. But they've been telling you, stop taxing us like this the entire time. We don't like these taxes. We don't like what you're doing to us. Can you please not do this to us? And it was like, oh, y'all ain't gonna do shit until shit hit the fan. So men are very vocal. The problem is when do you decide to listen? Are you gonna listen when they're asking you nicely? Or are you gonna listen when they get violent with you?
So Sweeney, how can we better support men who feel victimized or are struggling without undermining their sense of masculinity or societal expectations?
Well, the problem is that you have to appreciate, there's a lack of appreciation for what men are and what they do for society. And it didn't used to be like that. At least here in this country. It used to be a time where men were appreciated. And not only that, but that appreciation came with a level of prestige for men. Made it worth fighting. Made the journey worth walking. Now what's happening is because you done neutered the man and told him, hey, look, we're gonna make sure that we're gonna make sure that you don't get to move the way that you need to move. And now they're saying, well, fuck it then. Now you're saying the workplaces they're lacking jobs, and they can't even fill a lot of these jobs in. They can't, you know what I mean? Men are not trying to marry nobody no more. Men ain't even approaching anymore. It is because there's a there's a lack of appreciation for what men were and who men are. And once you take that away, and then not only that, you back that up with laws that neuter them, they're going to say, fuck it then. Until they get upset, until they get tired of it, and they flip some tables over.
My fault.
Can I ask a quick question? What is it that is being, like, based on what you said to me? Because I'm not a man. I don't know. What do you feel laws are being passed that makes a man not be able to be a man?
So, for example, just think of it as the social contract, right? The social contract is that men still have to be men, regardless of the situation. They still have to protect. They still have to provide, even if they are the victims in the situation. So, for instance, a good man is in a marriage. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. She's simply not happy. She leaves and leaves him whole. He can't. Now he loses his children in the marriage because they go with her. Because he's been working 80 hours a week, so he's never been home. She has been. So he loses his kids, and now he done went from a dad in the house to a weekend dad. Then there's potential that he loses the home that he built with this woman. So that home goes away because you got to either sell it or give it to her. Then, you know what I mean? Then the financial aspect on top of that, because now not only does he have to pay child support for his child, but he has to now pay for a completely separate home to live in. That may be more than what he was paying when he had all 5 of his family in the house with him. So when men experience shit like that, and they say, damn, I thought I was doing everything right. And you're going to tell me that hey, we don't give a fuck that she may not have been happy with you. You still got to be the man. You still got to be a man. That's just one instance. Another instance is the fact that even when we talk about male victimhood in certain situations, like being assaulted on the street, or male victims when it comes to like instances where, like for instance, Cardi B openly admitted to drugging and robbing men, and in the world laughed at it. And men were like, hold on, that's not fair. That's not something she's supposed to be able to get away with. And you're telling me that she can get away with that and laugh and be able to get a record deal and be able to have a shoe deal with Reebok, even, you know what I mean? That's unfair. So when men say, hey, look, we deserve to be treated fairly in this society. If you're going to say that we have to treat them fairly, then you got to treat us fairly too. You don't get to tell men that, hey, you still got to be the man, but we're going to take the teeth out of you.
All right, so you're saying it's not specific laws. You're saying just more in terms of social conditioning.
Well, it is specific laws, because like marriage laws, and like that's the reason why you're starting to see laws change. You're starting to see no fault divorce get thrown out because men are fighting against that. You're starting to see things like what is it called? Paternity fraud laws come into play because men are starting to say, hey, look, this shit is unfair. I would even argue that the abortion law has a lot to do with the unfairness in reproductive rights, where men was like, damn, we don't get to have no reproductive rights, so y'all don't get to have them either. Like, you're starting to see like men are reacting to a lot of the laws and starting to change it, react to the way that the family dynamic has created a hostile environment for men. And they're reacting by trying to push back and change laws and things like that once favored women heavily for their own reasons, because women had their grievances back then, which made them change the laws to begin with. But now it was an overcorrection, and now men are saying, hey, look, this overcorrection got to be fixed.
All right, let me get Jasmine in there. Jasmine, in what ways can the media and popular culture shift the narrative around male victimhood to foster a more inclusive and supportive environment?
That's a loaded question, and it's late. But let's see. The media, well, I guess they could just start believing men when they, come out and say certain things have happened to them. But then that would take, more men actually having the courage to speak up about things that are affecting them, because you can only, handle situations that are actually, you're only aware of what you're aware of. So we can't help and shift the culture if we're not, aware of what's going on. So I think that still plays into that whole toxic masculinity thing, where they feel like, or not toxic, but just masculinity thing, where they feel like I can't speak on my trauma. Like, I actually had a situation with someone they said they were assaulted by a woman, and I questioned them a lot, just because I feel like, oh, you're this size though, but you're this, you're that, like, why you couldn't do? And I could tell that he was closing in, because he was feeling like, oh, you're not believing me, you're not listening to me, like, you don't think that really happened to me. And I felt bad because I did that to him. So I was like, you know what, that was messed up, because if it was a woman, I wouldn't even have asked all those questions. I wouldn't have even took him down that path. So I definitely think it's something that we have to start being more, empathetic to. And the media, we like to push propaganda anyway, so hopefully the media will be more empathetic to the situation as well.